To me, two things strike me. One is, how do we get alignment? But I think even before I asked how, what do we align around? And I think you have a lot of thoughts on that. I know you have a lot of thoughts on that. So do
Oh,
you
yeah.
align around what?
Well, so there's not one of those companies I've ever talked to or an executive that wouldn't agree with this statement. Yes, as an organization, we are very customer focused. We're customer first. Everybody says that. Almost nobody really executes well on that. It's not just me saying that from my conversations. McKinsey did a big study and they found out that less than 15% of companies are actually customer focused. They don't execute on the voice of the customer. But we all know that's the highest voice of authority. That's the North Star. So when we don't have a real deep relationship and understanding and constant conversations with our customers, then what ends up happening is all of us that have risen up in our careers and are very smart people and are very capable of making decisions, we all do. As chief marketing officer, we make decisions. As a chief revenue officer, as the CEO, as the CFO, as chief product officer, we're all making our own decisions based on our own bias, where what we should do is all align around the voice of the customer. If we did that, then all of a sudden, that's the natural alignment factor. So just by actually saying we want to be truly customer focused, which means we truly want to listen to our customers and not only listen, but then act on that. It's an internal alignment factor that nobody can argue with at all.
The what is the voice of the customer.
That's the voice
And
of the
even if I,
customer.
before we say that, get to the how, because I know we have a lot to talk about the how, what do you actually mean when you say voice of the customer, Steve? That's a word, a term that gets thrown around left and right. And I don't
Right.
think anyone really says, what do I mean when I say voice of the customer?
When I hear that, what I think of is I want to be inside the head of the customer. The more that I can be inside of the head of the customer and truly understanding what they're thinking, what they think their challenges are, what they think their risks are, what they think is important to create success, and what they don't know. What they don't know is where they're open to having somebody come in that's really smart, that they think is a peer, that they think is a colleague, that they don't think is a vendor, they don't think is a seller. Somebody that comes in that's like, hey, I've been there, I get it. And hey, we've tried this and that. And it brings new ideas to the party. They're open to that because not everybody has every answer. So to do that, here's the key is you can't have voice of the customer conversations that are run through existing business processes and departments that were set up to do something totally different. I'll give you an example here. You can't get your best voice of the customer information by talking to prospects through the sales department. And this is CROs saying this
Too
too.
much context, right? Too much pressure, too much transaction focus, all that.
Well, the whole idea of that is it's a sales pitch. The prospect has their cards against their chest. They're not revealing. They're there to see what they can glean. Maybe there's something that there's important that these guys can say, but they're not opening up.
It's the damn. It's the
It's the
sales.
absolutely. And customer success conversations are the same way. Every CEO and CFO, at the end of the day, the KPI for customer success is how much did you cross sell and how much did you upsell? They are a sales organization, an internal sales organization as well. So the idea here is, and lots of CMOs and lots of CROs I talk to, they say, hey, when I come onto a new role, the very first thing I do is I just start having conversations with customers.